I got them, don't worry. They're not that heavy, okay? I don't have that many trading books. But yes, these so far are the trading books I've read. And there's even more. I've gifted them away to other people. I wanted to bring this up because how much of this do you think I've retained? Okay. What do you think the key takeaways were from each trading book here? Okay, let's just look, just real quick. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. Fantastic book. Intelligent Investor. Fantastic book. Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. Fantastic book. Mike Bellafiore, The Playbook. Fantastic book. How I Made $1 Million Trading Commodities. Fantastic book. Anna Culling, Volume Price Analysis. Great books. Fantastic books. Let me ask you something. Okay? When it comes to running a business, like trading, what do you think is the most important thing? You think reading books on running a business is going to be the most important thing? They'll probably tell you how they ran their business, right? But in reality, the most important thing is your edge, right? Data is absolutely your most important thing. If there's anything that I concluded from the books that I've read on trading, it is data. You need to have data. You need to have edge data. Now, I have a video called How to Find Your Edge Data. If you're interested in what I actually did to find my edge data, right? Basically, you are going to be acting as your own analyzer, right? You're going to be doing the analysis of your data. And to do analysis on your data, you need to have data. So you should definitely start journaling everything. Now, doesn't mean everything. It means the stuff that makes you the most emotional. I would absolutely journal that. Like for me, as you can see on the screen here, I just make it very simple. I just put the date that I traded because that's actually important. I want to know if it was a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, or Friday, because I know that if I'm trading bad on Monday, I want to follow that pattern that I don't trade on Mondays, right? If I'm trading good on Fridays, I want to follow that pattern where I trade more. In fact, I want to trade with bigger size on Fridays. Make sense? Whatever reason that is, right? I'm just looking for patterns, so I want to document as much as I can without making it too hard on myself, so I stop documenting because it's too much. I want to document as much as I can that I can very quickly look over it and look for patterns quickly, right? Because you have to think of it like this. If you document too much, if you put too much time into it, it might actually get too much where you don't do it again. Make sense? Does that make any sense? Think of it like this. You ever water a plant? Imagine watering a plant so much that you kill it. You ever done that? It's possible. Did you know you can actually kill yourself by drinking too much water? You can unalive yourself if you drink too much water. That's crazy. Your business works like that. Okay, everything in moderation. Don't do it too much if you want to be consistent. Because if you're just going off of a running start and you don't have any foundation, right? You don't actually know how much of a running start you can handle before you should dial it back. If you have no clue about that, you might actually burn yourself out. And next thing you know, you're making brand new rules and you have no foundation, right? So that's one of the biggest trading myths is that, you just need to focus on your strategy. Here, I'm going to hand you a strategy. That's all you need. And the rules will come later, right? The psychology comes later. Guys, that is literally one of the biggest trading myths. You absolutely need data. Okay, you need data, because your edge is very exclusive to your personality. I like using volume. I like using order flow. I like using trend lines, right? I like using imbalances, supply and demand, etc. The thing is, though, I had to figure that out using data, what my most profitable trades were, etc. So don't think that you're going to be able to become a profitable trader by somebody handing you their strategy. Okay? That's not the way business works. You're going to need to create a foundation, a strong foundation that you can continue to build upon, right? So that's one of the biggest trade myths. Now, how are we going to break that cycle? Because if you think that you're just going to be able to make rules and stay consistent, it's not going to work like that. You ever tried making rules for your trading? How quickly did you dump those rules and make new rules? It doesn't work very easy. So look, you need to make rules for your rules. If you look here, I have some encouragements that I use. Look, days since last rule break. Now I have a fresh template here, right? Very clean, so you're not reading through all my stuff, getting distracted. You're paying attention to what I'm saying here. Okay, days since last rule break. I think right now I'm on like 38 days since the last rule break. Okay, the highest I've ever been was 90 days of a rule since my last rule break. I like to think of it like this: if you're you ever been to the airport, or they always brag how many days since the last plane crash? Or maybe that's only in the movies. I don't actually know. But you want that as encouragement. You want confidence, right? This is your confidence builder right here. I know that I can follow my rules because I've done it for the last 38 days, right? I know that's what I care about more, is following my rules, than if I actually, how do you say, if I take a loss that day, I don't think of it as a loss, right? I think of it as, you know what? I followed my rules. The loss was the outcome. That's fine, but it's just a loss. I know that that's only today, right? I followed my rules, and I know that if I follow my rules, I am profitable, right? And then I have a risk evaluation. So risk evaluation means, am I sure that these rules are still serving me? That's the thing, right? Have you ever changed your rules before? I have, right? There's been a time where even the kind of risk that I have put on right now was too much. Because think of it like this: I only risk 1% of my account per day. Okay? Imagine losing 5% of your account that week. Every single day was a red day. Okay? Imagine losing 20% of your account that month. In fact, if you lose 1% over time, it'd probably be more like maybe you lose 19% of your account or 18%. You get what I'm saying? The losses would actually get less each time because 1% and 1% and 1%, etc. It hurts. 20% would hurt. Imagine if you have I have a 2% weekly loss limit. That means I only want to hit my daily loss limit 2 times per week, right? If I lose 2% of my account that week, I'm just going to take the rest of the week off, right? Because I have data that says if I lose more than 2% of my account that week, it's very likely I'm going to have a very bad week, right? So I know I better just call it right there at 2% and let's take the week off. Breaks are important, right? You need to take the L sometimes. You don't need to make it up. Believe you me. You ever been so overwhelmed with something that all you want to do is just make it up, make it up, make it up? I'll tell you something, with my addictive personality, that's all that I do. I like to make things up. I like to think that, man, you know what? I can just do it. I can. I tell you what, I'm behind on all this stuff. I'm going to make it all up in one day. And I tell you what, it absolutely ruins my day to do that. So sometimes you just have to take the L. You just say, you know what? I don't need to make it up. It's behind me. It's in the past. Let's not do that again. That's the important part, is not letting it get there. Because sometimes when it gets there, it's too far gone, and you're going to destroy yourself and everybody around you if you try to break down a door that keeps closing. You might as well take the L on that one. So, and I have a R max, which is 1% of my account. I only risk 1% of my account per trade because I can only risk 1% of my account per day. Very simple, right? And I take 1% of my account out every Thursday. So you're probably thinking, well, how did you make these numbers up, etc.? It's all part of my data. I know how much I want to take out from my account for me to be emotionally sound, not feeling like I took out too much of my account. Make sense? Because think about it like this. Imagine I took out 10% of my account that week. You don't think that would hurt after 2 weeks of not making 10% of my account? If I didn't make 10% of my account that week and I pulled out 10% of my account, I would actually be negative on my account. I'd feel like I was losing, or I feel like I am losing. And then guess what? I'd probably trade poorly. So I like to take out a very small amount of my account. I like to withdraw, pay myself some money. Don't feel like I'm losing much, still paying me some money, making sure the account is still at a sufficient balance where I can still grow the account, and it's been working perfectly. But that's how you break the cycle, guys. You need to have limits for your rules, okay? Because look, if I absolutely stuck to this rule set here, never changed it, guys, life happens. Things happen. So think of it like this. My next risk evaluation is on January 13th. That's in 2 days. So today's Sunday. It would be on Tuesday. Imagine something happens and all of a sudden I'm losing every single day of my trading, right? The last time I can think that happened was when I took on a new job for somebody. Somebody actually hired me to do some work for them, to work on a car. I was working on a car for them, and it really got in the way of my trading. In fact, I had to adjust my trading style and my whole hours of operation, right? I had to adjust it to match what I was doing for them. You don't think that's going to affect your trading a little bit? Yeah, it affected me a lot of bit, right? So things can happen. That's why you need to be prepared to adjust your rules. But you want to adjust your rules when you plan to adjust your rules. Make sense? You don't want to just impulsively adjust your rules, because you can all of a sudden start adjusting your rules when you don't want to adjust your rules. Make sense? You might just adjust your rules that day because it was a red day, instead of having data showing a pattern of why you should adjust your rules. I find it pretty common with failing traders that they adjust their rules based on 1 day of losses. They lose money that day and they say, you know what? I'm not going to trade like that anymore. And then the next day, guess what happens? They lose money again and they say, you know what? I'm not going to trade like that anymore. Then the next day, they make money. They, you know what? I'm going to trade like that. Then the next day, they lose money. They're like, man, I'm not going to trade like that. And they've been using the same strategy as the green day. So this is why it's important, because not only are you going to do this in trading, you're going to do this in your life in general. You ever played rock, paper, scissors with somebody? Imagine you played rock. The other person played paper, right? They beat you. Are you likely to change from rock to paper or scissors? Human psychology says yes, because you lost and you don't want to lose. So you immediately change to avoid losing. Make sense? For some reason, humans are like that. But it's very, very common, especially when you're dealing with a business, that you're going to find things like this happening. You are going to succumb to your impulses rather than rise to your data, right? You always want to rise to what your data is saying. You always want to become conscious and look over your data, say, okay, this is the pattern that I'm seeing here. I'm gonna place into effect these rules for my next risk evaluation. I'm gonna adjust my rules because I see a new pattern here, right? I no longer want to be 1% risk because I know I'm able to put on more risk, or I no longer want to be 1% risk because I need to reduce my risk because of the market we are in right now, etc., etc. But That's the deal. Break the cycle. Document this stuff. Document what makes you emotional. I know my P&L makes me emotional, so I document what my P&L was that day, according to the date, according to the number of trades, and then I take notes on it, right? And my notes might look something like, okay, I woke up on time, I didn't complete my morning routine, I forgot to brush my teeth, etc., etc. I didn't finish what I was doing yesterday, so my mind is a little boggled and I can't really focus on trading, or I was holding and hoping the trade today. So I want to document all these kinds of things in my notes, so when I go back and I'm looking through all of my notes, I can see the pattern. And I also color code my days, where one day's a red day. You know, if it's a red day, I make the whole row here red. If it's a green day, I make the whole row here green. So I can look very quickly back through my notes and see how it's all looking, right? So that's the thing. And you're not just gonna get there, right? I might can tell you this, but until you understand it, until you really get it, you're not gonna see the why. I'll tell you my why, right? I thought I had trading figured out at one point, just like a lot of people do. And then when they're in the trading space, I thought I had it figured out. In fact, I thought I had it so figured out that I went and was looking for money. Right? I said, man, does anybody want to finance me? In fact, I ended up getting financed a good amount of money from some people. I won't disclose, but they gave me a little bit of money. I 3x'd it, 300%, turned $30,000 into $100,000, and then I lost it all. Okay, I had no foundation, I had no plan, I had no strategy, I had no discipline, I had no behavior. I had nothing that was set in stone to be able to manage that money. All I knew was that I got lucky. I thought that it was permanent, and I thought that it would continue. It didn't. I had no real foundation, right? Lost all that money. And that really humbled me. I said, man, I do not want to lose money like that again. In fact, if I want to make it in trading, I'm going to have to figure something out here. I started reading books. I started discovering what is common among successful traders. And what's common among successful traders is they figure out what they're doing wrong, figure out what they're doing right, analyze that information, and do what their edge data says to do. That is what's common among successful traders. And you've probably heard it 100 times that you should journal your trades. This is your confirmation. You absolutely are going to need to start doing that if you want to be successful. There's no way around it. You're not going to see any success if you do not know what you're doing wrong and you do not focus more on what you're doing right. You're not going to have any success. Because I'll tell you right now, you're going to focus more on what you did wrong. You're going to focus more that you lost that money. And it's going to sit with you. You're not going to be able to remember what you did right. You're not going to be able to continue to feed into what you're doing right if you don't document this stuff. It's never going to sit well with you. So that's the thing. You're going to need that foundation, because how are you ever going to build a true big trading business, managing money, really living off of trading if you do not have a foundation? It's not going to work, okay? So where do you go from here? I gave this information in an 18-something minute video around the books that I read, so you don't have to read them and get the gist, right? That's the gist, guys. Document your trades, find your edge data, and it's going to take work. That's not sellable, is it? You don't want to hear it. You didn't have to buy a course to tell you that. I'm telling you that for free now. Go and do it, okay? That's where you need to go from here. Look, I'm going to have my whole trading review template here in my Discord, okay? If you want to follow this template for free, copy it just like you see it here, or please come in the Discord, hear me yell at you about your trading, and let's build this community. Links in the description. Join the Discord. Hope to see you there, okay? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.